What up, people of the world of all ages? It's still me, Katie Otaru, and you're welcome to the Artmosphere, brought to you by the Pond Collective. And you know how we do. We're all about creative, we're all about youth, we're all about life, we're all about vision, and we're all about the universe. And you know, I'm not always here alone. I'm always here with somebody special. And this particular guest I'm having today, let me just start, not just gassing him up, but let me just start by saying he is one of these guys that you don't just have a normal conversation with him. You learn something from him. Hit your Wikipedia, Google, and whatnot. You will know this person. He's not just an artist. He's also an architect. Quite interesting, right? So, yeah, I am talking about no other person than, I call him the Great, but let's just go with Mr. Oscar Ukonu.
Yeah.
What's good, bro?
Yeah, good evening, Kitty. It's so fun to be here. I think this is the second time we'll be recording, right?
Yeah, more like just catching up.
Exactly.
More like just catching up and all
beautiful
that.
being here again.
How was the traffic? You know, the traffic situation in Lagos. Living in Lagos is kind of hard to start with.
The road, the new road construction going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of delayed me, but I think I came here in time. Yeah. we had to take this.
Yeah, we chilled.
Like,
we saw a movie. Yeah,
sure.
We gotta be honest. We saw a movie.
Sure.
So, for the people who don't have time to hit up the internet to search who Oscar Ukonu is, just give us a brief intro. Tell us as you be now.
I am a visual artist, right? I live here and I work here in Lagos, and my base medium is the ball pen. So most people that come in contact with my work, so they always have this feeling of blue, so it's always the blue ball pen, and so that's basically what I do. And then I'm also an architect, so that's
it's quite interesting. At first, when I heard you're an architect, I was like, okay, I know people are architects and they're always busy. So, like, how do you try to balance that with your career as an artist? How do you try balance
I
both?
think I figured that while I was in school, because I was also actively creating art in school. So it's always 50-50 for me, right?
Yeah.
So I always have a time. I always have the time to do my schoolworks and the time to do artworks, right? So that was when I found a way. But for now, I can't say I give architecture so much of my time for now. So now it's just mostly about my art, and then most time I do also do designs.
Designs.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
okay. I mean, it's interesting. Okay, sometimes I try to see from the perspective of somebody who is not arts inclined, and your medium, the ball pen or biro, like we call it. So the medium is quite interesting because it's difficult. I gotta be honest. I'm an artist, and I'm just saying this, and it's difficult because it's almost like there are no errors.
Yeah,
it needs to be perfect from start to finish. But I mean, you're the artist, so tell us. Like,
that's
how do you just go about? How do you manage?
So that's how people feel. When they think about the ball pen. So they feel like it's this medium that is very unforgiving, right?
Very.
Yeah. So whenever you make this error, there's no going back. But it's not like that. Do you understand? It's not like that. When you understand the ball pen, like, it's just the same way that you have this relationship with people, different kinds of people.
Yeah.
So there are people who are difficult, but somebody finds a way to be
tame
good
them,
friends,
basically.
good friends with them. So it's just you understanding the quality. So I started off with the ball pen in a very bad way, because I thought I was going to draw with the ball pen like I did with the pencils, right?
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed, right? So I was trying to force it to act like the ball, like the pencil.
With the pencil,
But it never did, because that's not the nature. So the only time I had a grip on the ball pen was when I allowed it to be the ball pen, right?
Yeah,
accepted the fact that I'm going to have these ink blobs, and I'm going to have these mistakes I'm not going to erase, and they all influence my.
So it's kind of like technique. Making peace with the medium.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
That's great.
I agreed to the terms, and that's it. So it kind of helped me to have more grip on it.
Yeah, I mean that's really awesome if you think about it, and I mean that's by the way. the reason you're here today, I've been thinking, I've been having conversations with a lot of people, and this talk about space came into contact. No, space is ambiguous, it's versatile.
Yeah,
You know, it could be, personally as an artist, when I think about space, I think about a state of mind I have to be in. You know, as a creative, you have to be in some level of state of mind. You have to be in this, should I say Zen mode? It's more like, I mean, I don't necessarily mean there has to be some harps playing in the background. I'm like, no, I don't have to be that. So I'm like, I have to be in this space, this zone. There might be people around, but I'm alone, but not alone.
Yeah.
And that's like my creative mode or something, at least. But I mean, what's your take on it? What's your take on the whole idea of space?
So the thing is, are you seeing space as something you carry or in a place you go?
I would see it as a destination. I think it's more like a destination.
You see like something you carry.
Exactly.
Yeah. So most of the time, people see space like something they carry, right?
Yeah.
So like zone. See, like I'm in my zone, right? So the see space. So then in some other way, you can also see space as a destination. So when your the space that you carry aligns with the space that you are in,
Yeah.
so that's imagine that's when you say somebody comes into a space and they light up the space.
They light up the space.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you can also describe a space as being a negative space. This place there's a lot of negativity in here, right?
Yeah.
So thinking about that, you now find out that space is not just like that emptiness. Because we most of the time when we think about space, we think space as an emptiness. That is talking about the physical space.
Yeah, the physical space.
Yeah. But most of the time, space is something that can embody other stuff, whether tangible or not tangible, right? So it can embody stuff like your furniture. That's tangible space.
That's tangible
yeah, that's
space,
tangible
obviously,
space. Yeah. But then the space can also embody stuff like a positive energy. It can embody energy.
True.
Yeah. So in this case, I think it's more of that, the space that embodies energy, the ones that lights you up, the one that makes you more creative, the one that makes you feel like sparks your emotions, right? So talking about that space, to me, I feel is something that needs to be very personal, right?
Personal,
and something
okay.
that should be dictated by you,
By you.
right? So my space, not myspace.com.
We're not taking shots. We're not taking shots.
Yeah, but it's always about my space, right? So
course.
most of the time, if you imagine if you have the space that you call yours, and you're always allowing others to
I was getting there. I was
to
getting there.
influence that space, right? So it's not really your space. So most of the time when people talk about space, it's more about the one that they can control.
But let me cut it short here. But you said about putting people in your space. Now, is there a possibility that the presence of these people coming into your space could be positive and it could influence your work as an artist? Is there that possibility, or it's more like 1 in a million chances or something?
Yes, there is. So most of the time, you see, art is very personal, right? As an artist, it's very personal. So it's something that a lot of things have to come together to really allow that creativity to flow, right? So most of that is not just coming from you. A lot of it is coming from your environment, which is made of other people, right?
Basically,
most of the time, these people can really be the ritual that you need to perform to get to a flow state, right? So you see most people that they have to have the daughter in the studio, right, to kick in that flow state. It's like kind of a ritual.
I used to have my cat.
Your cat,
I used to have
something
a
like
cat
that.
around.
Something
So
like that. Yeah.
was
So
a
most
part.
people like, they really need to like interact with another individual, right?
Yeah.
To get their comfort zone, right? To
I
get
think I could
place,
relate.
to get themselves to a place
I can relate to
where they
that.
become more creative, to get themselves in a place where they can really get in that flow to create. Because all of these boils down to optimizing your creativity, right? So you're always finding ways to optimize your creativity, to optimize your productivity, and well, you need positive. You need a lot of positivity for that.
I will say I relate to that in some levels, because for my kind of work, I get inspired by people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about just seeing things. I'm talking about just having a conversation and
Mm-hmm.
something will just spark in my head. Oh yes, I want to work on something like
Mm-hmm.
this. That's why I never I tell people I don't get inspired by silence.
Mm-hmm.
I like noise.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in a noisy place, that's where I get most of my inspiration to create something, because a little sentence here, a little word here, a little laugh here, a little sadness here, or a little whatever,
They
I
can
get something, it just
inspire.
kicks
They
something.
can
You understand?
inspire.
So
Yeah.
like I kind of bring that. I kind of like get into the zone while in that moment, and it's more like, yes, I am here with you, but I am not here with you. It's like my mind has been divided. So I have my artist mind is active, my social mind is active, and my awareness is still present.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I can party with you guys, I can socialize with you guys, but
Okay.
I'm creating in my head
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the same time. So I think it's relatable and subjective in different ways, and it's quite beautiful. Okay, now let me just push this further. Talking about this whole bringing people in your space. Okay, let me just ask: are you religious?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
I
yeah,
am.
you are a Christian or something.
Yes.
So does any of this whole I know you mentioned about positive energy. So like, do you actually have this whole thing that brings in your religion into your artistic space when you are in that mode as an artist, and you just like, okay, I feel this energy is positive, let me create. But the possibility of, oh, I had this idea, why is it not coming out well?
Yeah.
Maybe the positive energy I felt wasn't actually it. Maybe I'm just not figuring this out. So like, how do you work around that stuff? Like, oh yeah, I had this idea, it looked good in my head, why wasn't it coming out well? Would you say that zone or that space you were in wasn't actually it, or you did not take your time to assess it properly before you go into the studio to work? How do
Okay,
you like manage your way around it?
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think I have ever been inspired directly from my Christian beliefs, right?
Okay.
In my work. But what I know has happened is I've seen I've seen the way that religion affects people, right? And the way it affects their identity, you know,
Yeah, pretty
especially,
much.
yeah, sure. And the way that it makes them, it's kind of interferes in their relationship with others,
The
right?
other people, yeah.
So as an artist, these the nuances that is the these nuances that you're looking at. So I don't think Christianity has directly influenced my work, But then I see human beings as I see human beings as social beings, right? No matter, like, I mean, this is what we want. The same
Basically,
way that
yeah.
the same way that you want, the same way that you put this, you put murderers, the way you put people that have committed the worst
The worst
crimes
crimes and all that.
the same way you put them in this prison, and then in that prison someone commits another crime. What do you do to them? You put them in a solitary, do you understand?
Yeah.
And then when people are punished by when you put them away from the prison, right? What is this thing about them that want to go back to being with rapists and murderers? And do you ask yourself that? Because you see these guys always want to go back to relate. I think that's what human beings always want. Because and then the way that we cross contaminate each other. Our species cross contaminate each other, and it's not something that you can always avoid, right? So you see people who always say that they want to be alone, they love to be alone, right? So most of them are they being alone because it's where they want to go, or are they being alone, or it's kind of a place they are vacationing. Do you understand? Is it a place that you're vacationing to, or is it a place that you want to be? There is the place you live, and then there's a place you vacation, right? So I don't think anybody wants to be in that position where they say, I want to be alone as the place I live. So most of the time, most people use loneliness as a place to vacation to, right? not as a place they want to live. Where they live is in the
More like
social.
an
They live in the
alternate
social world.
reality, sort of.
They
Yeah,
always live in the social, space,
yeah,
but the vacation to loneliness.
exactly.
So to me, that's what it is, right? Because you hear this people cross contaminate each other's species, and
Yeah,
that's
basically.
why all these great ideas that we have are there, right? Because I want you to think about this. The human mind, which is the whole place that we have all this space and
Yeah,
going on.
basically.
The human mind itself morphs every day. Like when you
True, true.
communicate with people, you're adding and removing stuff from your mind. So
It's like learning and
exactly,
unlearning,
and that
basically.
and that influences your personal space, right? So there's no time when you say the personal space is a place that I carved out just for myself, and I'm only
Yeah,
is only influenced, by me, and
yeah,
however I want to feel is just going to be dictated by me. No, I
yeah.
don't think there is a place
So
like
you're
that.
you're saying that influence is inevitable. Like
It
it
is.
has to just be there for
Yeah,
you to
it is.
actually get things in motion.
It is. It
Okay,
is.
this is an artist perspective,
It
right?
is.
Let people understand what we're trying to say here. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so let's say you're in your studio, or do you like have a personal ritual or something? Still talking about space. Now I'm going to the aspect of personal ritual.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have what you do? For me, what I do is I choose something. I make sure I just have something chill. It might be a snack, it might be
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But what ritual do you have or something?
Music kicks in.
So there has to be music going on or something.
Music puts me in that flow state every time, right?
Yeah.
So I have this set of songs I have to play, to keep the flow, right?
You probably send me your playlist.
It's
I like to
it's
listen. I like to
house
listen to what you
music.
listen to.
it's just about house music. It has this upbeat,
Yeah.
that keeps, I don't know, whatever it is flowing, right? So
It keeps it
yeah,
flowing.
that's what helps me to keep drawing from
Have
the
you ever
stream.
tried like working without your ritual, like just being in the studio and let's say you forgot, just like working without your ritual? Have you tried that before?
Whenever it happens, it's not me trying. It happens, and then I just allow it to flow. There are times
So
when
there are necessarily no difference.
there are breeze.
You
There are
just know
breeze.
something is missing.
Because this is it. The thing about getting into the flow state is whenever you're in the flow state and you remember, or it occurs to you that you're in the flow, you get kicked out. So the idea is, imagine if you don't perform your usual rituals and you just get in the studio and it kicks in, because it happens, right? So it just kicks in and you see yourself in the flow. You just work and work 2 hours, 3 hours,
Yeah.
and you just realize, oh damn, I'm not playing music and I'm going this part. You'll be kicked out. So that's exactly how it works for me.
So one last question. Do you like ever get this whole feeling? I don't know. I get it. That's why I'm asking this question. Like I get this feeling of when you're working, it's like timelessness.
Yeah.
It's like you're not paying attention to time. You're just in the flow, in that mood, in that zone, and you work. Does it like really occur to you?
Yes, that's the first
Like
thing.
you don't know
Happens.
before you know you've been working for like
8 hours,
10
happens.
hours, and
It
you're like,
happens.
oh my god,
It happens.
it just looks like I just did like
happens.
2 hours or something.
It happens. It happens. I think time stops at that moment, and
I think that's like my favorite part about making art. You know, time just stops,
you don't
and
even know what's happening
you're in
outside
that
of.
mood. It's like you're in a different reality,
Yeah.
past the reality and
Yeah.
stuff. And in the real world, the real world, according to the perception of many, time is going. But in your
Yeah.
world as an artist, time is just
It stops. And
so
then
there's
just
a question I like asking people in this segment.
good.
How do you unwind? Let's say you're not in the studio. You're not even doing your work as an artist, as an architect.
Yeah, sure.
How do you unwind? What you do? What people might want to know what the great Oscar Ukonu does.
Oh, okay. I think what happens is I used to read a lot, right? But then until I started reading, I started using more of ebooks, so I can work and then I just listen to
Listen to
podcasts and
audiobooks
ebooks,
and
yeah,
stuff. Oh,
audiobooks,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So most of the time, yeah, audiobooks. So that most of the time that works for me. That I used to be the guy that always want to just get in a space and just
Yeah,
read
yeah.
stuff up, and so most of the time I'm getting most of that information with audiobooks. So I don't do that anymore so much, right? But then, now I think I just like to go out, get in conversation with people, and
Yeah, of
then
course.
if I'm in the house, I just play FIFA.
Yeah, yeah. We,
I
we, we,
just
we ball we ball on
yeah,
FIFA
yeah,
once in
yeah.
a while.
I
Yes,
just
that's enough for you people to know.
uh-huh.
We are more like rivals.
You know that.
Yeah, but no worry,
So
no worry. I did book way. I once in a while.
oh. No, that's very wrong. Oh God, I think we should have is this a video podcast? So we can have a live match.
Maybe
We
someday
can
we'll have
stream
a
a live
behind the
match
scene.
one day.
That's
But
really
for me,
beautiful.
like that's it. I'm the guy that always wants to have conversations with people, and because the thing is, when you say unwind, the thing is, we're talking about living the creative space. I don't think that really happens for an artist completely, like
Yeah.
in the way that people understand it. Because let's say you're living a workspace, right? And you're doing this 9 to 5, you always feel like every time it's 4 o'clock, every time it's 5 o'clock, you're leaving the workspace. For an
Yeah.
artist, it's not the same
It's
thing.
never.
So
I
you
quite
leave the
agree.
studio
It's
as
never
an
the same.
artist, the what you're going to see, the guy that's crossing the road, at the BRT, you're looking at him and you're seeing some of
You see
things that you want
and I
to.
feel it also reflects in the way your persona. And there are people who like. There are people I don't know what the word is, but there's the way they see you. They already know like the kind of energy you give out. Like when I go out sometimes, I don't need to tell people I'm an artist. They're like, you look like an artist,
Because
not a singing type. You look like you
know.
paint.
I know.
And you kind of like, oh, do I give off that vibe or
I
something?
know.
And
Because
I think that's also dope.
there's a piece of you
Yeah.
that followed you out of the studio, and that's what
Obviously.
they're seeing, right? So the artist leaves the studio. Still the
I
artist.
think that's still space. That's still part of space. You have that artistic space with you.
The artwork might not leave the studio with you,
But you the artist.
But the artwork is also in the streets.
It's in the streets, exactly.
The artwork is also in the street. Like art is life, and it's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening
That's
everywhere.
like really,
So you're
really a
working as an
beautiful
artist.
thing.
You're always interacting with art, regardless.
Exactly. So before we leave,
So
any last words?
that's so much for unwinding. You never do that. You never do that.
So before we leave, any last words?
Last words.
Last words for people listening to this, for younger artists who actually look up to you. Because I gotta be honest, I look up Instagram. I see some other artists who are like into the whole ball pen medium and stuff. Do you have like any words to encourage the younger people who've not really been there in that light? Do you have like any young? Because this podcast is all about encouraging the young ones and like the artists who are trying to like find a way to like get in the scene and all of that. And we both, luckily, we are in the scene and we know we have a few experiences and stuff. So like, any last words to like give whoever's listening?
The thing is always about creativity, hard work. Being creative is one thing, then doing something about that is another thing, right? So it's just, what I'll say is putting the time in your creativity, putting the time in your skill, putting your 10,000 hours, and you see yourself, so putting your 10,000 hours, acquire the skill, and you can try to abandon all of that. And when you do abandon all of that skill, right, it leaves something in you regardless, right? So that's it.
That's word. That's word.
Putting the time.
Right. So thanks for coming through. I mean, this has been wonderful. It's always, our conversations are always wonderful.
I appreciate every time.
Our conversations are always wonderful, and I'm kind of glad we did this episode, and it's really beautiful. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and people of the world. I gotta be specific. I don't want to offend anybody right now. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I did it again, but yeah, you know where it is. So till next time, you know how it is. It's the ARTMOSPHERE, brought to you by the Pawn Collective, and I'm always your host, KD Otaru. And next time I'm gonna have somebody special again. I keep it real with you guys, man. It's all about arts, creativity, the universe, and you as the artist. Just know, artists everywhere and everybody's an artist. So from us here to you over there, it's a wrap. Bye for now. Peace.